After 3 years of teaching, one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the classroom has nothing to do with grading essays or my band classes, and everything to do with realizing how I talk to myself. The first time I noticed this was about 10 years ago during my first teaching gig, but the last few years being in class with students, it's been wild to notice just how much care and curiosity I give them, and slowly realize that the voice in my own head is nowhere near as kind or patient or detached from what's happening. If you're new here, welcome to Lesson Planning Life. My name's Thomas. This is my third year teaching full time, and even though we started on Tuesday, it feels like it's been a month since last week. It's been awesome. It's so great to have the chaos and the joy and the energy and interactions with students that come with the beginning of the year. And it's also been a whole lot of work just trying to feel prepared, trying not to feel behind, and getting all of my ducks in a row with English and band and the different roles that I've been playing. So yeah, feeling very grateful and definitely very tired today. Last night I definitely felt like one of my sophomores, crunching to the deadline to get my essay out for the week. I think I posted it like right before midnight, which is why I'm shooting this now. But it has felt great to start a year where I'm excited about my classes, but I also have my own personal projects going on. And they're all just kind of feeding into each other in pretty neat ways so far. So despite being very tired, I'm also very grateful. The other day when I was thinking about this week's topic, I thought about the classes that I'd had that day. It was only the second day of school, and even then I was noticing just the weight that so many of these high schoolers have when they come into a classroom. Anxiety about their social lives, about the sports teams they want to be on, the way that they reflect about themselves on their surveys and their body language and the way they kind of poke or hide from each other in the classroom. By no means are all my students in a dark place, but it's always been very clear to me just how hard they are constantly on themselves and how hyper aware they are of how everyone else thinks that they're doing. I teach at a pretty competitive school, which has some serious privileges, but it also means that pressure is a lot higher as well, especially when it comes to things like grades and co-curriculars and sports. Personally, I'm grateful that for the most part, my brain has been a safe place to be my whole life. I have a lot of friends and family and students that I know that's not always the case, but just because there's been a baseline of safety and stability, there has certainly not always been support. I don't think I'm especially unique in saying this, but I've spent a lot of time in my head my whole life in terms of what I think others are thinking of me, and also the way that I just talk to myself with my own expectations and goals and habits and shortcomings and achievements. It's just been a rapid fire, nonstop stream of drill sergeant and reaction and terrified bunny rabbit. And in the last couple of years, I've started to notice a shift. This could just be my frontal lobe developing, but I also think I've been grateful to have a lot of great friendships, experiences with therapy, and other tools that have really helped me notice and name that voice that's constantly going. And that's something for me I didn't even know was happening until about 10 years ago. The summer before my junior year, my first teaching gig, I was a TA for the art teacher at my high school. His name was Sean Powers, and it was a 7th grade summer camp that I had done as a 7th grader, and I'd been asked to help out. I'm a music guy, I'm an English guy, but they stuck me with Sean since it was a creative field and we got along pretty well. And that summer was life-changing for a lot of reasons. I mean, obviously I'm a teacher now. I credit a lot of that to that program. But outside of my professional development and being exposed to just great tactical teacher things, it was the first time I saw behind the scenes of the world of adults, where he taught the same class 5 times in a row and every time was dealing with new kids that had new struggles and different things going on. And as a pretty self-centered, anxious teenager, that was incredibly freeing and just strange to witness. Like, it sounds kind of silly, but for the first time I realized that my teachers and the people around me didn't think about me 24/7 or fixate on my shortcomings or constantly expect more stuff from me. That didn't mean that we didn't care for all the students and he didn't model an amazing level of attention and support and intentionality. It just meant that I realized not everything revolves around me. And that triggered a disconnect where I realized the story that was playing in my head was not actually the story that was playing out around me. Very important lesson that now 10 years later, I'm just starting to get a better handle of. Once again, I credit a ton of that to being in a classroom with high schoolers. It's a bizarre moment to see a kid that you relate so much to, and then at the same time you have no idea what their world is. And that really puts things in perspective. I think I care about my students and I think that I attune to them very intentionally, but it's also a little amusing, like I've been there, man. It's gonna be okay. But that's just how it has to happen. And ultimately, there's a level of, I think, just healthy indifference. I notice myself wanting to help and doing all I can, but at the end of the day, I walk away and then I'm enveloped in my own life and my own things going on. There's just a level of trust and patience that that student's gonna be okay. And that's incredible, because if that's the way that I see them, I can't imagine how like a parent sees a child, or however far up you want to scale it, right? I see the way that I orient toward my students, and that helps me see how others see me better. And it's not the voice in my head that says that I'm failing and I'm behind and I'm not lovable. And it's just this constant feedback loop. The more that I do that, the better I'm able to see that with my students, and that makes me feel better, and it just keeps on going. This beautiful cycle that I'm starting to really see pay off after a couple of years in the classroom. So that has very little to do with the content or the things that we've been doing in class. That's all been pretty great too so far. It's only week one, so I'm sure that this kind of high will start to fade off as the year goes on and it becomes more and more of a grind. But I know that I will continue to see my students with this level of care and intention, and I hope that that can keep snowballing into positive ways that I can support and see myself. I'd love to hear what you think if you've spent some time reflecting on the way you talk to yourself, or the way that other teachers or mentors have shown you that you are okay. And if you want to keep following along, I post an essay every Thursday and hopefully a video every Thursday, and a bunch of stuff on Instagram as well. Thank you for watching.